Here you can see that I have my lead toe in line with my rear heel, establishing my boxing stance and thus a line of attack directed at the bag in front of me. Imagining that the bag is an actual opponent, we can say that we're both on the same line of attack and have equal opportunity at offense and defense at the given moment. But what if my opponent throws a cross to the head? For this example, we're going to slip to the outside, D'Amato shift to get around, then finish by countering with a lead hook from southpaw. This is where we really have to consider where we are in relation to our opponent's line of attack, because although we're assuming I made them miss their right hand cleanly by slipping, my chosen follow-up footwork and counterpunch have put me back into the danger zone. As you can see, immediately after the D'Amato shift, but before the punch, my head is dangerously close to sitting right on my opponent's line of attack. As I throw the counterpunch, my head does come away from the line, but there's that temporary moment where I could get caught. Now let's imagine if I were to do the same thing but from too far to the right. We see that the effect is worsened, as now my head is dead center on the bag's line of attack, assuming he didn't use his sick footwork to adjust with me, of course. Finally, let's look at it beginning from the far left line of attack. Here we see that immediately after the D'Amato shift, but before the counter lead hook, my head is well away from the imaginary opponent's line of attack. Not only does this keep me inherently safer than if I had initiated the movements from the center or far right lines of attack, but it also positions me such that the trajectory of my hook pushes my opponent off their heels, where they don't have a leg to balance on. Now let's look at how the placement of our center of gravity over our stances determines how far our head is from a given line of attack. I've marked out my center of gravity in this particular position after pivoting using the blue line. The red line indicates a lead foot heavy position, and the green a rear foot heavy position. Because I kept my center of gravity neutral during the pivot, my head truly left the line of attack, although it's still dangerously close. You could imagine how if someone were pivoting around this side off of say a jab, they might want to load up on their lead foot as they pivot, so they can shoot the lead hook as a counter when they get there. But as you can see, doing it this way could lead to putting your head right on their line of attack for a split second before countering. The last of our three options is a rear foot heavy pivot, and as you can see, doing it this way results in my head being the furthest it could possibly be from the line of attack. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that any one way is the correct way, but rather to be aware of the risk that you think you're off the line, but aren't because of the position of your center of gravity, or aren't because of where you initiated your footwork from in relation to the lines. In boxing, you can really do anything you want so long as you know what it is and why it is you're doing it. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you found it helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future uploads, and for the time being, here's some other videos to hold you over.